American production. Remember, back in the 70s, they attacked the farmers first. Hey, you can thank the IRS, those potlickers, and the Department of Agriculture for screwing the farmers every way that they could for a penny's worth of profit and the destruction of the country in the long run. We fed the world. Why are we bringing anything in from China?
We shouldn't be.
There's no excuse except that there's been planned incompetence. And, of course, remember, food is used as a weapon by the United Nations and the CFR people to kill off populations. We are too dependent, or actually, there's no excuse for it. I would ask this, we are producing. Is the good food going to somebody else? Oh, probably.
Well, in the past, I think through the 70s and 80s, we watched U.S. beef go to Japan, whereas we were importing Argentinian and New Zealand beef and Brazilian beef into the U.S. And 90% of what was available in the grocery stores at that time were from those three countries here in the U.S., while the U.S. beef was going to the Asian rim.
The grade A American beef was going to somebody else because, after all, we owed a debt. Well, wait a minute. Yeah, that's basically what it comes down to. Repossession or foreclosure is part of the process. So, again, one of the things to remember is pay attention to what it is you're picking up. Now, we know that with the volume or bulk food, some cases you're having to go certain directions. So pay attention to who's producing what. Now, one thing we'll say about the Europeans, they have higher standards right now in many cases than a lot of the stuff that's been produced in general. So a lot of the European-produced foods are really not a bad thing. There's, for instance, at the dollar stores, they've got Dutch hams right now. $1 for 8-ounce canned hams, which is not bad. We're talking very serviceable for storage. Zip cans. They're in the mini versions of the traditional type ham can. You know how they got that shape to them like a teardrop? And they're perfect. At 8 ounces, you're not opening too much food.
No.
Keep in mind, that's about perfect for any kind of cooking you want to do, and you're not having to worry about refrigeration.
Well, you're looking at, again, too, if you're looking at serving sizes for prepared protein, you're looking at 5 to 8 ounces. So it's, you could easily stretch it between 2 to 3 people, sometimes even 4, by mixing other things with it. But if you were to eat straight out of the can for one person, for protein for one day, there you go. Open the can and eat. Ready to go. And
again, there's also treat. That's the other mystery food. That's one step below Spam, and we all know Spam. Well,
stop closing his meat.
That's right. So a treat is, I think, something else. It's probably there should be an H in there, a threat. Okay, change the words a little. But treat will work just fine too. $1 a can. The idea is again to put stocks in inventory so you have more variety. You don't have to spend the most to get what you need. The important thing is to mix the foods up and, again, have a variety so we don't have to worry about food fatigue, which is another issue that everybody's going to have to look at in the long run. And food fatigue can be avoided. You've got beans, lentils, rice. We've got all kinds of dried stocks, plus an 8-ounce can of ham in with a handful of rice and a handful of barley is a pretty darn good meal to begin with, especially when possum butt's starting to look really tasty. And by the way, we ain't going to waste possum butt for the possum butt either. That's going in the can eventually, or I should say going in the pot. But in the meantime, before we have to go in that direction, we're going to make sure we use the rest.
One of the other things I'm going to ask you to do is get with your other members of your group. If you don't have them, get together with even people in your neighborhood. Go to your local farmer, somebody that does. If you can find someone that does meat processing, or go to your local, auction house, and go in on a cow. Go in on a steer and have it slaughtered, and a quarter of beef in your freezer, or until you can get it canned up, because that is the next thing that I am going to be doing is processing beef, pork, chicken. Anything I can get my hands on is going to go in jars on the shelf.
Oh, no. Our cow puppy's looking at you like, huh?
No, he's not. He's taking a nap.
Okay, wait a minute. Yes. Anyway, the whole point is that, again, we have a variety of options right now. Things are going to be tightening up. And here's the thing. It's not that we really have a complete food shortage, but it will be fabricated. And that's why we are going to top it off. We're going to be on top of the wave. We're going to be riding this thing and be ahead of the curve. food production with gardening is critical. That's part of your long-term solution. Developing your area with wild products that can be put in place. We got a little turkey population we've been chasing around here. And as a matter of fact, we saw them again tonight. Anything and everything that you produce or you plant in the way of berry-producing bushes, crab apples, brings in other creatures. Those creatures make for more variety, which is critical to our overall development and processes. So keep in mind that you're creating an entire habitat by developing other food products. And again, not all necessarily eaten by us, but promoting the others, which then we can eat and develop, a little more concentrated foodstuffs. In that respect,